What's going on, guys? Losing $400 on a Friday. We lost $400 trading United Airlines and UAL and PCG. These were traded on a 25K and a 10K account. So we lost the larger dollar amount was on the 25K account and the other one was on the 10K account. So really, these are not big sizes. If we're being honest, they are not. So what I want to do is I want to dive into the recaps, obviously, but then if you stick around for a few more minutes at the end or as the video goes on, I don't know how long it will be, I want to get into kind of the psychological, piece here and talk about this stuff. So let's go. We have approximately 4 days, not approximately, we have 4 days left of October trading. And as of right now, before I go into those specific recaps, as of right now, we are down just about $1,400 on the month. It says 18 trades, but that's really more like 9 because they're all being counted twice on 2 accounts because of trade copier. My profit factor is obviously shit. My win rate is, now we'll see. The month's not over. I have 2 open positions. Both are up currently. We'll see how that goes. Knock on wood, because the way things have been going, those might be headed back down. Both are up for now. But this would be the worst win rate for a given month that I have ever had, I think. When I say I think it's been that I've tracked with the strategy that I currently trade since late April 2023, believe it or not. But the month's not over. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's not over yet. Average win-loss is kind of skewed. This number is not very good because I normally have this number much higher. It's not very good simply because I do not have very many winning trades to put into here. And the trade that one of my winning trades that counted for the beginning of this month, or I guess mid-month, was partial profits because of an error or a glitch on the broker side that I had to re-enter the trade more than halfway through it. So instead of having the trade come in at $400 or $500 gain, whatever it was, the trade made 100 something or 200 something and then 100 something here. So it was kind of broke up into pieces. So that skews it, making this look smaller than it really should be because my average win-loss is better than that when I have normal trades. The thing is, I only have one other winning trade for the month. Well, I guess there's 3. Well, when I say one other, I guess that 2 was because it was on the 2 different accounts with the trade copier. So I only have one other winning trade. So really, we don't have a lot. Like, it's when you look at data like this, just keep this in mind. When you don't trade super consistently, meaning like, I don't trade this. I don't trade once a day every day. I don't know. Like some days I won't because there's no setups. Some days I will, and some days I'll have a swing and a day trade that go on at the same time that just so happen to close the same day. So that's why the numbers can kind of be a little bit. Sometimes they can be a little bit weird, but that all plays into it. So let's do it. Let's get into the recap. UAL and PCG. So what happened with UAL? Didn't like how it closed. Simple as that. Did it hit my stop from my entry or my initial entry? It just about did. I don't know if I actually would have gotten stopped. Let me go to the 5-minute chart here. Oh no, I would have gotten stopped out. Never mind. I would have gotten stopped out anyway. So this would have been out anyway. Just the last few minutes it popped up a little bit. But I exited before my true stop hit by like a few bucks. So in the grand scheme, wasn't a big deal here. Here's a 4-hour chart. It's funny, man. A lot of these trades, a lot of these charts, they look pretty good. Not pretty good. They look really good first half of the day. And then second half of the day, the close is just anywhere where I want it to be. So in the case of this one, trade setup, great. Strength into the consolidation, breaking consolidation, great. Had higher volume on tap today, like better than the past couple. It was on pace for that. And then it just went, ooh. Because when I entered this trade, we had a nice big fat green candle here with a little lower wick, not even barely a lower wick. We had a green candle. It was a nice green candle. I was like, whoa, we have a nice looking green candle here. So at the time, it looked good. It just so happened we closed super weak, which is why I get out, which is why I take the L, which is also why the loss is not huge on UAL. $60 on the 10K. I don't want to lose more than 100, give or take a few bucks. So that was it. This is intended to be a swing trade. It's just that it ends up being a day trade because it closed terribly. Like, this thing was looking good. Go to the 5-minute, and not like, oh, it broke above it and then it had this, quick little wick and right back below. No. I got in here. Okay. We had this little upper wick. We came back and then we pushed up, pulled back, went even higher. That's it. What can I do? That's exactly like, on the bigger time frames, that candlestick looks good. So we're going to play it. It just so happened to fall off, and that's exactly why we manage risk and get out of it. Also, going into a weekend, a close like that, just not worth holding over the weekend. Just not worth it to me. PCG, I got in this one yesterday, I believe, on the live stream. And, talk about just, killing my hopes and dreams. It's like, come on, man. Come on. It's, this one looked good as well. I get in at around 2078. It kind of, closes a little bit weaker yesterday. Not terrible, though. Not terrible, right? It still closes above our blue line, above the breakout. We're staying in. No problem. I originally planned out to stop below these lows. And we open with a gap up today and then proceed to sell off the entire day, putting in one of the nastiest looking bearish engulfing candles I have seen, or you'll find on this stock at least in a while. I guess you can say this one right here, but even that, I don't know. This is a bigger one, so a pretty nasty bearish engulfing, and could have held on to it, didn't hit my stop. Going into a weekend, not a good close, and earnings is coming up in less than 2 weeks. Also, I just didn't want to hold it. Simple as that. Take the discretionary aspect there. I took my discretion and I said, you know what? I'm not going to hold this one. Technically speaking, didn't hit my planned stop. Could that come back to bite me? Sure. Chances of this, in my opinion, now doing this and hitting TP before earnings or the election, pretty low. So I said, let's just take our loss, take the slap, and we'll go into next week with a cleaner slate. Simple as that. Okay. So those are out the way. Now let's get into the details, or the good stuff. This begs the question, right? The obvious question here, and this would say, well, what the fuck are you doing, right? Your win rate is so shit that clearly you suck ass. Clearly you are fucking something up, right? And I ask that question to myself a lot. And I think to myself sometimes, what am I doing wrong? Now, if you were to go back to the recent trade recap on NVDA, go from a couple days ago, what you'll find is that was a trade where I should have won. Straight up looking back, should have won. At the same time, so right there, right, that moves the needle. It increases our win rate a little bit. It moves the needle. It wasn't that the trade setup didn't work. It did. I did not execute it the way I should have executed the trade setup. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. Going forward, you might say, okay, well, are you executing? No, I am. When I say this, I mean this seriously, and I'm not lying to you because I could, I guess. But what's the point? They're legit. Like, I have no incentive to lie in this case. I am trading the exact same way that I was a year ago, back in May when I had an amazing month, back in, I believe, July when I had a great month, or at least it was a decent month. I am trading the same way. Back in May, 66% win rate. The rest of this year, we kind of have been fluctuating back and forth between a mid-40s and a mid-30s. With the May 66, that averages out to about 40%. Which obviously is not incredible, but a 40% win rate with the way that I manage my risk is very profitable for me in the long term. So I am happy with that. Obviously, right now, we're not getting anywhere near that. And so the question then is, Am I to blame? And I think there is the NVIDIA trade that we had. There's that one trade this month. I am. Absolutely. These trades, these are trades now that I'm looking at and saying, did I have to take them? Did I have to take them? And why am I even asking that question? It's like the setup, it shows up. I do my scans. I mark my levels. I set my alerts. The alert goes off. I check it out. If it checks the boxes, we enter. It's as simple as that. It's not that complicated. I keep it very simple. We are just not getting follow through. Simple as that. I don't know how else to describe that. It is not that I am changing my strategy. I am doing something drastically different. I am going to make mistakes, as I did with NVIDIA. That's going to happen. I want to limit those from learning from them going forward, and that's what you try to do over time. But this is a situation where there is not a lot of people who I have seen, heard, or talk about, whether you listen to podcasts, you look this up. This is not something you can look up. And that's the point of why I make these videos. So really, when I think about it, that is why I make the recaps the way I make the recaps, because they are raw, but they're also me talking to me in the future or in the past, I guess. I don't know. Like, me in the future is going to look back on me in the past, which is me right now, and say, how was he thinking? Because I can go and watch these videos to see how I was thinking. And was that beneficial or not? See how the next couple months play out. But what we have a problem of now is it's not the strategy necessarily, but at the same time it is. And what I mean by that is the strategy has proven to work. It's had great months. It's had a pretty good period for the entirety of me trading it. It's actually done very, very well. So it's not that the strategy is the problem, and it's not jump ship strategy-wise. It's how can we identify better times when the strategy is not working well and has a lower probability of winning. And that is where I come to, I think, now with the overall market. Because I looked back at a couple of months this year, and more specifically, some of the recent periods of consolidation. This period in August was not profitable for me at all. This period in here was not profitable for me at all. This period in here was actually quite profitable for me in the early to mid-September range. This period up here, not profitable for me at all. I did not trade during this period. Didn't really get many setups. And I think I was kind of busy. I ran a 50-mile race is what I did. So I was like not thinking about trading really as much. And I just didn't get a lot of setups, and I was just like taking it slow, you know? So I look back through all that, and what I see is a pretty common pattern. This, and this, not good environments. So, but the idea is it's more about a recognition or a pattern recognition and understanding that in the market is what I think will put us in a better position. Now, the problem that you have, here's where it gets deeper. Like if you have been trading long enough, or at least have thought and ask yourself these deeper questions, you get what you're going to understand what I'm saying here. Because, okay, easy, right? When we're in consolidation, not good. But how do you know when we're going to go into consolidation? You don't. Simply put, you do not. We are in it now. We're in chop, you can say. Yeah, but you do not know. So the only thing that you can, as I boil it down, this is kind of like me with a light bulb, almost the same, having it right now. Like, the only thing that I could do is observe. When I observe, I can then say, okay, we're in a trending environment. We are not. Right this second, right now. I can broaden the charts out, but that's all I can say. And what I could also say is the longer we chop around or consolidate, or the longer that we trend, the higher the probability, the higher the chance that changes soon. Do I know when? No, but soon. And each passing day where we continue to chop around, we get closer to a day where we trend. or a period of time we trend. And so I think that is the biggest takeaway in the grand scheme of all of this. It comes back to probabilities, as a lot of this stuff is all about probabilities. But the answer is not known. I do not know when. I will not know when. That is standard. That's a given. That's okay. It's just about putting myself in position when the probability is increasing of XYZ. And so how does this correlate to the strategy? The longer we chop around, the more interested I should be in setups. Does it mean that we shouldn't take setups because we're chopping? No. It just means that the longer we chop around, the more interested. The longer we trend, the less interested I should become. You kind of get the gist here? The slight subtle solution inside of that too is utilizing day trades and swing trades. And when I say that, I mean utilizing day trades more so when we've been trending for some time. And I've had a couple of swing trades that have worked and we've taken some good gains. We don't know when it's going to end. So if we keep getting momentum, day trades should be there. And that offers the ability to take that with more confidence because it's a short-term trade, whereas a swing trade is different. But it's, again, all about probabilities. And so it is not a perfection game. I would like to get as close to perfect as possible. Obviously, as you've seen, this month is not getting anywhere closer. But overall, we're talking bigger picture. Knowing that I can never get there, knowing that I will never be perfect, if I can just put myself in a slightly better probability and then average that out for a long ass period of time, a shit ton of trades, track them, adjust if I have to, but just kind of do the same thing, then everything else is irrelevant. And that's all that actually matters if it's making money. So that's what I come back to. And, I should go back to this year to date, see some of the stats and numbers. This seems like a pretty decent drop off. It actually is since the October 21st. So this past week, I guess, realistically, right? Part of this is simply, this week we're down. Let me go to this week. Let's go to this week. We're down $1,200. Part of that is because back in September, I sized up where I added an additional account. So I had a $10,000 account and I had a $25,000 account that I was trading on. I bought an additional 25. So now I have $60,000 that we're trading with technically total. So I almost doubled it. Did I double my position size? No, but that's what it looks like. So I can't control that, but that is a piece. To be blatantly honest, like if let's say we have an additional week next week that does the same thing, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say we did. I could, in theory, go red on the year. However, that's because if you were to look at this graph over here, like notice ever since what is this period right here in September, the beginning of September, the sizing has increased a little more substantially. These were a little bit smaller. Some of them were swing trades, and some of them were. That was actually a pretty shitty day back in June. But most of these bigger days were swing trades that were closing out on the same day as day trades. And I traded a lot more back then. I trade a lot less now. So that's kind of skewed. Just as the same way, I will say too, let's just say that we flip-flop and all of a sudden, maybe it's the election. I don't know. And we pass the election and it is just, I can't lose. It is maybe it's a period of time where I legitimately cannot lose. I'm like, boom, set up there, boom here, firing off setups left and right. And they're just setting up. They're hitting me in the face. I'm seeing them. I'm just taking them. Boom, okay, set up. I'll take it again. Take it again. Meets the criteria. Boom, boom, boom. And they just keep winning. If that occurs, it's possible. I mean, I'd love to have one of those periods. We're due for one, right? If that occurs, then we could skyrocket back up to a new high of the year P&L wise, and like the chart will blow up, you know, and it will look like that doesn't seem sustainable. It's because I sized up in September, sort of, not really, but percentages are all the same, but I just added an additional 25K of capital that isn't real money yet. I am funded on one of the accounts, not all the accounts. That one I added so that I can kind of work towards passing that one and whatever. So that's the deal. I hope this was helpful. You kind of can see more of an insight into, you know, my head, where my head's at and all this stuff. Biggest takeaway, I guess I should go back in time too. Since the origination of the strategy, which believe it or not, came back in 2023, the last week of April, for whatever reason there, I can go back in time and see. I wasn't doing the recaps at this time. A couple months later, I began the recaps. But that last week of April, I snapped out of whatever I was in. And here has been the chart. Okay, like this is the chart that I have had since that period. And I was trading options up until about October or so of that period. So like we had a good run, chopped around in the summer. August did me dirt. August got me. August, simple as that. August got me. I had them a little early. August got me. I was doing a nice little trend. And then we kind of chopped for a few months. And then in October, I had my best month of that year. Had a really solid month, kind of kicked things off, a little dip in mid-November, and then boom, finished into the year strong. And then kind of been trending since then. This year, a little choppy since May. Really kind of had a good start to the year, kind of up, down, but kind of making those stair steps higher. And then since May, it has been pretty much break even since May. Now, because I size up, it looks a little bit worse, but it's essentially been break even since May. So this is legitimately every single mother effing trade that I have taken, 686 trades with this one strategy, okay, since end of April of 2023. So it's been like a year and a half. I don't know how long it's been. The sizing has been inching higher because why would I not with this graph, right? Would you not do the same thing? Why? It's a logical progression. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll see how this year finishes, but you know, we're kind of at a point where I don't really think that I sometimes you got to remind yourself of like, okay, like take a step back. How far we come. Know that we sized up. So when we get winners based on our sizing, like they're going to be pretty big relative to what we've been used to, you know, having size wise. So, you know, when the time comes, when we hit things back in our stride, like, yeah, we're going to be there. So that's that's the full update. That's the recap. I got to log all these. I got to go mark them off by the time frames. I got to go mark them off by, I guess call them what they were, bull flags. And we'll see how things play out from there. So hope this is helpful. If you are still here watching, you're literally awesome. You're insane. And I think you're getting something out of this. You wouldn't be still watching this video if you weren't getting something out of it, whether it's my weird mind or I don't know. Maybe you just like hearing me talk. I don't know. But I appreciate you for hanging out. If you ever want to use TradeZilla, link below this video is an affiliate link. But don't forget, if you're new, code TC10 saves you 10%. So save money. I'm sure they're going to have like a Black Friday deal, I would think. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But if they do, I'll let you know. I've been paying for them for a couple years now, so they're useful. Clearly, right? They're useful. See you in the next one. Peace.